Morning brewers, going to be a hot one on the Gold Coast today. Bureau's telling us a top of 36, a sure sign that summer is well and truly on its way. And after the couple of failures that we've had recently with our last two batches, the Baswegian ended up dry and twisted and overly bitter and awful to drink. And then of course our latest one, Red X, go and give it to you, ended up being infected. Surely bad luck doesn't carry over 3 times. Surely our next brew, our next batch is going to work. Although I'm trying a couple of things different this time around, so I'm hoping it's going to work. Firstly, I'm going to use this. Well, needs a label. There it is. The Cooper's Mexican Cerveza. This is the very first time I've brewed this particular beer. This is the very first time I've used an extract can as well. So, as I said, this is going to be a first. I've already ripped off the handy instructions for a bit of a read last night, which is very, very handy. Not really much to it, except I'm going to take it a little step further because I'm actually going to be adding raspberries to this one. This is going to be my very, very first fruit beer. So I'm using the extract tin that I picked up from Woolworths for $6. I'm going to throw in about 1.5 kilos of raspberries across the batch, and we're going to see how this goes. Here's hoping it's not another failure. Now, my next thing to possibly, not really, worry about with this particular thing is the fact that, unless it's, no, it must be on the label. Somewhere here it says that it makes 23 litres of beer. Now my fermenter over there, that's 20 litres. So either I make 20 litres of beer or I split them with the other beer fermenter that I've got, the little 5 litre carboy in there. Now I actually sat down last night and worked on some maths and a very vague plan here, and I figured if I put 87% of it into the big one and 13% into the little one, we might be able to swing this. We'll see how we go. For this very first time I'm ever using an extract can, I'm going to go with no hops. I'm going to use some SO4 yeast because I've got that laying about from the last batch as well. I'm going to put the raspberries in after 7 days. I'm going to let it ferment for a week first, then throw the raspberries in and see how we go. And fingers crossed, I'll actually have 23 litres of delicious raspberry flavoured summer style beer because, yeah, as I mentioned at the start of the video, it's starting to get hot. Now, first things first, very, very important step. You do not want to skip any part of this step whatsoever. Considering that our last batch got infected, I am sterilising absolutely everything that came into contact with that last batch within an inch of its life. Now, I've already soaked everything overnight in some Steriphos. There's a video on this channel if you want to know all about this remarkable pink powder. But I'm doing it again because I'm taking absolutely no chances. So I've got my hydrometer in the hydrometer chamber. It's soaking in some Steriphos. I've got my thermometer. It's soaking in there as well. We've got the 5 litre carboy. We've got the 20 litre fermenter. Anything that touched the beer or is going to touch this one is getting a nice sterilisation overnight. And then a thorough rinse out the next day, so that there's no chemical residue. Even our boil pot, which we're not probably going to use in this particular batch, is getting a good clean out because I figure if I'm cleaning everything now, you might as well throw in some water and some Steriphos into the boil pot and it'll be good to go for next time. So we're going to hopefully rule out any chance of infection with this one and still be very, very careful. Also with this one too, I'm actually going to do away with the lid. It's simply to stop flies and stuff killing themselves right now. I'm actually going to use the Glad Wrap trick with a bit of tape around it and watch it go from there. Hopefully I'll have left, roughly 3-4 litres of space so that it has ample enough room to not bubble over and go from there. But we'll see what happens. It's all going to be another big lesson on this channel. So it's now later this evening and I've been doing a bit of reading. I've been on Facebook. I've been checking out various beer recipes. And I've come up with a couple of change of plans. Well, last minute, minor things really, not a complete overhaul of the entire recipe, but I am going to go from 23 litres down to 21 litres to taste a bit stronger. Apparently people using this extract can have found that at the full recommended dose of 23 litres, it's a bit watery, it's a bit weak, so 21 litres, and that'll give us a little bit more headroom in the fermenters as well in case things really bubble over. So down it goes, but still 21 litres, that's a lot of beer to chew through. And secondly, I completely forgot that I have a cheap box of brewing sugar. It's got a little bit of dextrose in it. It's got some other sugar in there as well. 1 kilo should be plenty for what we're going to be putting together, so I'm going to be throwing that in as well. So, like I said, change of plans, minor change of plans at the last minute, but hopefully it'll make a very tasty brew.